The Mavs helped young star Luka by trading for Kyrie. The Suns tried to help Devin Booker getting Kevin Durant. The Spurs had made one blockbuster trade for a star. 1974 got 21-year-old George Gervin, became a superstar. Since then, nothing. Oh, they dealt George Hill for Kawhi on draft night. No one knew Kawhi was that good. Then they traded away Kawhi, but this ain't what they do. Until now. ESPN's Jonathan Givony is plugged in, says they're not looking to make this a 2 to 3 year process. They want to be competitive next year, possibly exploring the trade of packaging the 4th and 8th pick, maybe to move up to number 1. What? Why so aggressive? Because Victor Wembanyama is different. The normal idea for a rebuild is like 4 to 5 years of patience. Vic ain't normal. Like OKC took 4 years after getting SGA, stockpiled a ton of draft picks. For what? Now they have their core and a ton of picks. No, the Spurs plan for Wemby ain't OKC. It's the Celtics, Mavericks, Pacers, and Timberwolves. This year's conference finals. And when you look at their starting lineups, over half the players were acquired in a trade. And these aren't small trades either. A combined 18 All-Star games, 10 All-NBA, 14 All-Defense. If you want to contend like Givony says they do, they need a big trade. It's how championships are won. But this is the last time we're talking Underdog this year. I know some of you are very, very upset about that. So I promise that we will have good picks on Pick'em. You pick higher or lower, and you can up to 20x your money in a single night. Look, I'm not guaranteeing that these picks will be just like last time when we got 7 of 8 picks correct, but I will do my best. Tonight, we actually get a free WNBA pick. It is Caitlin Clark over a half point. Clearly, we're taking that. The other pick in that same game, Alyssa Thomas, we are going to go higher on her points as well. And best of luck if you're tailing those picks. Check out this updated map to see if Underdog is available in your area. Always use the promo code AMHOOPS. You get up to $250 in bonus cash. Last year, the Nuggets had Aaron Gordon. The Dubs got Andrew Wiggins. The Bucks traded for Chris Middleton. Lakers AD, Raptors Kawhi. Point is, SA is about to change how they do business. Why? Well, normally, guys aren't ready to win until their mid-20s. LeBron and MJ were 27. Steph and Giannis were 26. Shouldn't they be patient with a 20-year-old Wemby? Even Hall of Fame NBA players were doubting if he could translate to the NBA this quick.
He's elite, hell of a talent. But some of the shit that I seen, we're not letting him do that in the NBA.
But you're not just dribbling it through me like the Harlem.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Oh, goes and puts it down.
Okay, that wasn't Draymond Green. And those guys were actually kind of right at first. The Spurs lost 15 games in a row, so Pop moved him from forward to center, which unlocked the Wemby experience. It was December 8th against the Bucks. The alien versus the freak. Wemby stole the ball and dribbled behind his back for an and one. Tossed himself an alley-oop, then blocked Giannis like they're on a playground. The position switch changed everything, and he went on a tear. That triple-double with blocks against the Raptors, or making Derek White look like a child. But the biggest memory for a lot of people is the second-to-last game of the year. The Spurs had basically nothing to play for. The Nuggets could lock up the number 1 seed. And sure enough, Denver led by 21 points in the third quarter, but Wemby took over. He scored 17 points in under 3 minutes, capped by a transition 3 from the logo at 7'4". The Spurs won on a Devontae Graham floater, but Wemby affected the playoffs without even making it. So Chris Paul explained how the OGs feel about Wemby now.
Wemby is different. Wemby is the guy that after the game in the locker room, we all was talking about playing against him because we literally all had to change the way we shot a little bit.
Yeah, because there's highlights of like Steph Curry driving into the lane, having a wide open shot and being like, nah.
It wasn't just Steph. It was half the league.
It was legit.
Dude might be a gigantic nerd. Literally. He was just caught in a local comic book shop buying Pokemon cards. No shame. But if Wemby is as good as people say he is on a rookie contract, that is a cheat code in today's NBA. The new CBA makes it impossible for old school super teams. Back in 08, the Celtics added KG and Ray Allen to Paul Pierce and won a chip, so everyone copied them. The Miami Big Three. KD to the Warriors. Even failed super teams like OKC having PG, Russ, and Melo, or the Brooklyn Nets disaster. But now, that blueprint sucks. Just go ask the Clippers or the Suns how the old school super team thing works. But if your best player only makes $12 million a year, oh, you can build a super team around that. So the Spurs have a short 2 to 3 window to build now, then they can reconfigure when Wemby gets expensive. So what are they gonna do? Well, we've got that rumor about trading up for the number 1 pick, and I want to dissect that. But what do the Spurs actually need? Well, they had a top 10 defense with Vic at center, but the offense was horrible. 28th in three-point shooting with no elite point guard. The biggest rumor is Darius Garland. Official odds say the Spurs are a massive favorite to land him over the Lakers, Pelicans, and Jazz. Everyone's untouchable except for Vic and Devin Vassell. But it all hinges on what Donovan Mitchell decides to do. The Cavs want to convince Spida to stay, and Shams says, should Mitchell decide to stay long-term, Garland's reps would have a conversation with Cavs officials on potentially finding a new home. The Spurs are very interested, but is Garland worth it? I mean, he's pretty small defensively, but on offense, he was an all-star before Mitchell got on his team. Garland is so much better as the lone point guard. The Spurs think he could bounce back with Wemby. But what about Trae Young? Tons of rumors about him. Well, any Spurs plans to bring Young to San Antonio have been vastly overstated. The Spurs sources said have expressed little interest in obtaining Young, and it makes sense. His defense is even worse, and he doesn't exactly respond well to tough coaching, Greg Popovich. Another rumor is actually Chris Paul. Seriously, the Lakers and Spurs are frontrunners to land him. But before we get to this number 1 pick rumor, what would the trade for Garland actually look like? Well, the Cavaliers want win-now players in return. Their window is open, but SA doesn't have great vets, so it'd have to be a 3-team deal. The Spurs get Garland, the Cavs get Lauri Markkanen, the Jazz get Keldon Johnson, Malachi Branham, and 2 top 10 picks. The Cavs need a stretch 4, and there ain't many better than Markkanen. Now, I know he was in Cleveland recently, but he's broken out since then as an all-star. The Jazz want a ton back, and this package boosts their rebuild, which means the Spurs could also do Markkanen for that package. In fact, betting odds have SA as the number 1 spot to land him too. But what about trading for that number 1 pick? I was actually shocked to hear this rumor because SA has number 4, which means that the guy that they really want gets taken in the top 3. So who's that? Well, the consensus top 3 are Zachary Rizier, Alex Sarr, and Reed Shepherd. I think the Spurs would only do this to get Rizier. He is a 6'9" fellow Frenchman with Wemby. He can shoot the ball from 3. A good defender on and off the ball with athleticism. The only issue is playmaking, which means they do have to get that point guard. But a big 3 and D wing who doesn't even need the ball, that is a perfect complement for Wembanyama. But Trae Young is gonna go somewhere. Adrian Wojnarowski even said the trade talk is legit after the Hawks got the number 1 pick. And it makes sense. You take number 1 and get a new face of the franchise. But where would Trae actually go? I did a deep dive on the situation.